Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're zeroing in on something pretty exciting.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
The potential when you mix artificial intelligence with the Solana blockchain.
Ah, okay. That is interesting. Lots of buzz around both those things separately.
Exactly. And we want to sort of cut through the noise, figure out how AI could actually make Solana, which is already super fast, and ship even better.
Better for who, though? Developers? Users?
Both, ideally. More accessible, more powerful. We've looked at an interview with Anatoly Yakovenko, the Solana co-founder.
Right. His insights are usually quite direct.
Yeah, and a bunch of articles on Solana's tech, its ecosystem, plus the original white paper, sort of the foundational stuff.
Okay, so a good mix of vision and technical grounding.
That's the plan. Let's unpack this.
Well, it's worth remembering where Solana started. I mean, the whole goal was to compete with traditional finance, right? On speed, on cost.
Definitely. Sources like DEV Community, Nansen, they all highlight that ambition. And they've made serious strides.
For sure. So the question now is, okay, what can AI add on top of that? What's the next level?
And Yakovenko has a pretty compelling take here. He actually compares AI's natural language interface, think ChatGPT too.
To what?
To Windows and the mouse hitting personal computing.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's a bold comparison.
Isn't it? He basically says if you're building any kind of consumer app now, you have to be thinking about AI as the main interaction method.
The primary way people use it.
That's what he argues. And he says specifically, AI will make Solana more usable and understandable. Direct quote.
Okay, usable and understandable. Why Solana specifically, though? What's his reasoning?
Well, he points to Solana's crypto APIs.
Yeah,
because they're trustless and very programmable.
More so than traditional finance APIs.
That's his point. He thinks they're fundamentally better suited for an AI to interact with. Less permissioning, more direct control.
Right, so an AI could potentially do more than just read data.
Yeah, imagine an AI like deploying smart contracts or executing transactions based on just talking to it.
Like an intelligent agent on the blockchain.
Yakovenko sees that as a potential game changer.
Which brings us to that ChatGPT plugin they built. Where does that fit in? Is that the first step towards this?
Think of it as an early experiment. A proof of concept, maybe?
Okay.
It's basically a text interface, kind of like a block explorer you can talk to.
So what can it actually do right now?
It can read data off the chain, identify NFT accounts, that sort of thing, just by asking it questions.
But it can't change anything yet. Like minting NFTs or sending tokens?
Not yet, no. It's read-only for now. But, and this is pretty impressive,
What?
apparently one developer built the first version in a single weekend.
A weekend? Wow. Okay, that does show how fast things can move in that ecosystem.
And how accessible the tools might be getting.
And what makes this, this early AI integration potentially work so well on Solana right now?
Yakovenko pins it on Solana's core strengths, the speed and the super low transaction costs.
Right, because if you want an AI doing things on chain, exactly, you can't have it getting bogged down by high fees or slow confirmations. He says Solana makes putting on-chain actions inside an AI loop actually feasible.
Feasible from a cost perspective and feasible for a good user experience. You need that responsiveness.
Yeah, otherwise it just wouldn't feel seamless. Imagine telling an AI to do something and waiting minutes or paying dollars for each step.
Doesn't quite work, does it?
Mm-hmm.
So where are we in this whole process? According to him, it's still early days.
Very much so. He calls it a discovery phase.
Discovery phase, meaning
He's basically putting out a call to developers, experiment, build plugins, see what you can come up with.
just try things out and see what sticks.
Pretty much. He even uses this analogy, the Star Trek computer.
Huh, okay. Like just talking to the computer and it understands and does complex stuff.
That's the idea. He sees large language models having that kind of potential understanding intent, executing tasks way beyond just clicking buttons.
Moving past GUIs to conversational interfaces for blockchain.
But it's not just about the user interface, is it? AI could impact Solana in other ways too.
Oh, absolutely. We're already seeing possibilities in like code documentation, helping developers actually understand complex smart contracts.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
Well, think bigger. AI potentially generating smart contract code itself,
Writing the code.
assisting with it at least.
Yeah.
Finding bugs, writing test cases, maybe even spotting security holes before they get exploited.
Wow. So AI as a development partner almost.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And potentially a security auditor too. That could be huge for network reliability.
And what about running the network itself? Validators generate tons of data, right?
A huge amount.
Yeah.
AI could be really useful for building smarter monitoring tools, analyzing all that performance data, spotting trends, maybe predicting issues before they happen.
Proactive network management.
Exactly. Then there's this other idea, which is quite ambitious.
Oh, one?
The possibility of an AI analyzing the code bases of different validator clients, like the main one and the new FireDancer client.
And doing what with that analysis?
Potentially learning enough to write a new independent validator client from scratch.
Whoa, an AI creating core blockchain infrastructure.
It's definitely out there, but it shows the level of potential some people are thinking about. AI not just using the chain, but helping build and diversify it.
Okay, let's bring it back down to earth a bit. What about more specific applications we might see sooner? Yakovenko mentioned AI trained on specific data.
Right, like AI isn't monolithic. An AI trained specifically on, say, Hive mappers, decentralized mapping data would be very different from ChatGPT.
How would that apply on Solana?
Well, imagine an AI trained just on Solana NFT metadata. It could probably give you much deeper insights into market trends than a general AI could.
Or one trained on DeFi protocol data?
Precisely. It might spot complex arbitrage opportunities or assess risks in totally new ways because it deeply understands that specific domain.
Okay, that makes sense. Differentiated AI based on training data.
And he gave this other really compelling example, an AI plugin for NFTs.
What about it?
Imagine telling an AI, create an NFT collection of 1,000 unique pixelated space cats, mint them on Solana, set up a basic Discord for the community, and write some starter lore.
An AI doing all of that. The images, the metadata, the minting, community setup, even the creative writing.
That's the vision. His point was it takes away the hard and annoying work.
All the tedious setup stuff.
Yeah, leaving creators to focus on the fun work, the actual core creative ideas.
That could massively lower the barrier to entry for launching projects.
Could lead to a Cambrian explosion of creativity? Maybe, if the tools get good enough.
All of this really relies on Solana's core tech working smoothly, though. Can you give us a quick refresher on what makes it tick, the speed and cost thing?
Sure. The big innovation, as the white paper explains, is proof of history. PoH.
Right, the cryptographic clock.
Exactly. It timestamps transactions before they even hit the consensus process. So nodes don't have to constantly chat back and forth just to agree on the order. That's huge bottleneck removed.
Okay, so that speeds things up dramatically.
Massively. And then there's C-level, which allows for parallel processing of smart contracts.
Meaning it can handle multiple contracts at the same time.
Yeah, instead of just one after the other, like having multiple lanes on a highway instead of just one. Both PoH and C-level contribute to the high throughput and low fees.
Got it. Efficient ordering, parallel execution. And that foundation has clearly attracted a lot of developers and projects.
Oh, definitely. The ecosystem is huge now. You've got tons of DeFi stuff, DXs like Radium, lending, yield farming.
NFTs are big too, right? Marketplaces like Magic Eden, games.
Huge. Plus Web3 apps, more blockchain gaming like Star Atlas, DAOs, and even payment stuff like Solana Pay for merchants.
So it's not just one niche, it's pretty broad.
Very broad. The diversity is quite impressive, showing the tech is flexible.
Now, no technology is perfect, especially when it's evolving quickly. What are some of the bumps in the road or concerns people raise about Solana?
Yeah, valid points get raised. Some articles mention concerns about potential centralization risks, given the hardware requirements for validators sometimes.
Okay, what else?
Security is always a background concern for any blockchain, and Solana's had some instances of network congestion or outages in the past.
Right, stability issues have come up.
They have. But it's crucial to see these in context. The core team and the community are actively working on improvements. Things like FireDancer, that independent validator client we mentioned, are specifically aimed at boosting network resilience and decentralization.
So, growing pains, but with active efforts to address them.
And interestingly, as we discussed, AI itself might eventually help with things like finding security vulnerabilities before they become problems.
That's a fascinating loop, using AI to help secure the platform that the AI runs on.
Potentially, yeah.
And navigating all this innovation also involves, and dealing with regulators and policymakers, doesn't it?
Absolutely critical. And that's where the Solana Policy Institute comes in.
What's their role?
Their main job is advocacy, especially in places like Washington, D.C. educating lawmakers about Solana, trying to shape sensible regulations.
Making the case for the technology.
Exactly. Seeking legal clarity for developers, promoting fair rules for decentralized networks. It's about creating a stable environment for all this innovation, including AI integration, to actually happen and be adopted.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the big picture seems to be that AI could really pour fuel on the fire for Solana.
Yeah, taking its existing speed and low cost and adding this whole new layer of usability and intelligence on top.
Making it easier to interact with, easier to build on, potentially more powerful.
And that ChatGPT plugin, while simple now, is maybe the first little signpost towards that future. This discovery phase Yakovenko talks about seems really exciting.
It really does. The potential seems enormous, combining Solana's engine with AI's interface and smarts.
Exactly. It could genuinely change how we think about using blockchains.
Which leaves us with a final thought, I guess. How much could these natural language AI interfaces really change things? If interacting with Solana or any blockchain becomes as easy as just talking to it.
As intuitive as chatting with a person.
Yeah. What kind of completely new applications or user experiences does that unlock? Things we probably can't even properly imagine right now.
That is something to think about. What becomes possible when the friction just melts away?
A fascinating question. Well, thanks for diving into this with us today.
My pleasure. Lots to watch in this space.